Today, we're going home. Home for me is Berkeley, California, and while I could spend hours talking about all of Berkeley's little quirks, one specific thing came to mind as soon as I read the prompt for this project. I discovered this specific set of stairs in elementary school when my main priority was, like many third graders, finding the quickest way to a store to stuff my face with candy when I collected $1 or $2. And wouldn't you know it, these stairs did shorten the route significantly. Scattered around the Berkeley Hills, there are 136 developed, named, and city-owned paths connecting various parts of the area. From residential streets to public transport to the trees of Tilden Regional Park, there's a path for everybody. Before we get into the paths, a little history lesson on the development of Berkeley. In 1866, the College of California was looking to develop a new campus north of their previous branch in Oakland and settled on the foothills of the Contra Costa Range. This area, now called Strawberry Canyon, is part of the greater Berkeley Hills area. In conjunction with railway expansion and a horse-car line out of Oakland, the area experienced slow but certain growth. Plots of land in flatter areas west of the university were sold off to developers in order to raise money for the college, and were set up in mostly straight grids of single-family housing. Because of how influential the university was, the city was generally on the leading edge of technology, replacing horse-drawn cars with electric streetcars, adopting electric lights and telephones early on as they were made popular. Development in the surrounding area boomed suddenly in 1906 as a tremendous earthquake hit the Bay Area, destroying much of San Francisco but leaving large parts of the East Bay mostly unharmed, sending many former residents of SF flooding into Berkeley. The largely untapped plots of land in the hills became the target of wealthier prospective residents and private land developers who decided to set up camp in the hillier areas of Berkeley, north of the university. One thing became quickly apparent. The flat grid design used in the rest of Berkeley just wouldn't work for the hills. The rough and uneven terrain resulted in a development adapting to the environment with very long blocks wrapping around the natural curves of the hills. It looks really cool, but in a time and place where most residents of these areas didn't have cars or horses, there needed to be a way for people to get around the city more efficiently. And so, as largely inaccessible housing continued to develop, land developers implemented a system of walkways between the streets. This wonderful network of shortcuts facilitated a more direct path on foot to the many residents of the area without other means of transport. Many of these paths cut directly between houses, ending on either another road or in some cases leading up to trailheads, encouraging a walk through Tilden Park. Initially numbered numbers 1 through 136, most of the paths have since been renamed based on their surroundings. Though owned by the city of Berkeley, most upkeep of these walkways is done by volunteers at the Berkeley Path Wanderers Association, who regularly get together and spend a few hours at a time trimming weeds, resetting steps, and otherwise ensuring the paths are safe and usable for everybody. The association also creates and updates maps of the paths, providing an insight into their past. The paths have, throughout history, come in handy as valuable escape routes, like during the Big Fire in 1923 or during the multitude of earthquakes over the years. Of course, many of these walkways have their limitations. For example, because of their proximity to people's homes, they're rarely lit at night, and many do not have handrails, making them inaccessible to some. This video is a pretty good representation of what you can expect to see from a given path at night, at least until your eyes adjust. Fast forward to the modern day, the paths serve as a reminder of the past, an escape from the chaos of everyday life, and invite people of all ages to take a few minutes out of their day to step away from cars and the regular design of a city. Now going back to young me, who was running around the hills looking for some candy, the paths provide something special for people growing up in the area. As a kid, getting to feel like you're sneaking around your neighborhood, taking shortcuts, and cutting through your neighbor's backyard is just fun. And so to answer the actual question posed by our prompt, I think urban planners could take note. Not only does a concept like the Path Network give a city another set of transportation routes, it provides character and a way to connect with one's surroundings in a unique way. I grew up running up and down the Berkeley paths, and while it's just a small part of what makes Berkeley special, it's an experience I think people in other cities should get to have as well. Take note, urban planners.